Another audio recording. It's Saturday, May 24th, 2025, and now this is really going to get me on a tangent because I had been on a search for a long time as to who my biological father is. And it's, as anybody can imagine, if you're in this kind of situation where you were either adopted or born from adultery, an adulterous affair, or what they call infidelity, you're known as a illegitimate child, in other words, or born from wedlock, whatever situation. This is just as, okay, it's usually, you hear the son of the bastard thing with men, right? Child of the bastard, son of the bastard. Well, it's with women as well. There's women out there who don't know who, lots of women as well. So it's different for women whenever you don't know who your biological father is. I mean, it's, as a person, a man or a woman is going to experience those same kinds of feelings of rejection, abandonment, confusion, betrayal, feeling overwhelmed, anxious. All of these things, which are very natural whenever you just don't know, because you spend your entire life knowing something's wrong, knowing that you're being treated differently by members in your family who raised you, but not knowing exactly why. You just know that there's something that just doesn't make sense or doesn't add up, and you don't know what it is, but you'll even have dreams about it. You'll have these weird flashes and dreams of things that don't make sense, but little hints and clues and you know what? This is going to sound kind of crazy, but I don't think it is. I with all my gang stalking and all the things that have happened throughout my life, and I've talked about before how the grandparents on my dad's side, Peaches and Pops, well, I mean, his name was Benjamin Armistead Sr. Baldwin is my alleged paternal grandfather, and my grandmother, Violet Hill Baldwin, Violet Schaller was her maiden name, and so that's on my paternal side. Now, ironically enough, this man, Pops, I call him Pops, that's what everybody called him. He was in the Army, U.S. Army and all that. He had traveled, well-traveled man. He had gone to Texas A&M. He had studied, I guess it was mechanical engineering. Yeah, he studied mechanical engineering at Texas A&M and then joined the Army at some point and was in the military, and then ended up, the last job that he had before he died or retired was working for Uncle Ben's Rice. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he worked there for like about 20 years or something. And then he eventually made it all up to vice president of the whole company of Uncle Ben's Rice. And I think they were headquartered, I guess, in Houston. So, and then he traveled a lot for that company throughout the Middle East. He traveled to Europe a lot, lots of time in Switzerland, lots of time in the Middle East. He had in Africa. He had been all over the world pretty much. Mostly though overseas. I don't know so much about, not as much in Mexico or Latin America, even though I think he had been to those places. But he mostly spent time in the Middle East, the Middle East. I don't know what countries exactly, but he spent a lot of time traveling to Saudi Arabia, and what parts of Africa, I don't know. I know that he spent a lot of time in Africa, and Switzerland and other countries in Europe. I don't know which other ones, but I know that Switzerland was one of his favorite places. And supposedly my grandmother, on his wife, Peaches, my grandmother, Violet Hill Baldwin, or Violet Hill Schaller, she apparently she was raised, like, she had a very troubling childhood. I think her parents died when she was young, and she was raised by an aunt or an uncle. And I know she had a half-brother named Paul or something, a brother or half-brother named Paul. And she was originally born in, I guess, St. Louis, Missouri. And then they moved to Waco, Texas. And then she had a younger brother named Warren, I think. Her younger brother, who died from like a thorn, a rose thorn. It got infected, a thorn from a rose that poisoned him, and he died from that, an infection, when he was like about 3 years old or something like that. So I think Violet, she had a very depressing childhood. I think her mother apparently spent time in a mental institution or was institutionalized, from what I was told. And so Peaches was raised by her aunt and uncle, but her family, somebody in her family, I think it was her grandparents, they came from Bavaria. Supposedly they immigrated from Bavaria, which is old Germany, Bavaria. I guess it used to be part of Germany. So that's where they came from. They settled, like I said, in Missouri, and then ended up moving to Waco whatever happened. But her family, somebody in her family started that Schaller Lumber Company, spelled Schaller, Schaller or something, however you spell it. It's a German name. They started that Schaller Lumber Company, and it's in various, mostly in Missouri, I guess, maybe some other states, but I know that it started in St. Louis. So that was her family who started that company, somebody in her family. And I used to go to St. Louis. I used to go to Missouri, like Branson, Missouri, to camp. I would go as a child to summer camp, Camp Canacomo is what it was called. And I spent like about 4 years as a child when I was like still in elementary school. Really young child, going to Camp Canacomo in Branson, Missouri. It was like a religious kind of camp. It was basically like lots of Bible study, and I'd spend a month there for like 4 summers in a row. And I lived in a cabin, with other girls my age, and we just had activities all day, and it was kind of like it was almost like kind of like a breeding ground for girls to be, to grow up in back then, of course, I didn't really understand any of this kind of breeding, what they do, or kind of, I guess they call it grooming and things like that. I didn't know anything about all that kind of stuff in that back in the day, back in the 80s. I didn't know what was going on, but they were kind of trying to prep me to be somebody who would be maybe a person of status in society, or somebody who's going to be well educated and maybe marry into a good family and have status. But unfortunately, none of that happened in my life. Unfortunately, things took a bad turn for one reason or another, and I just kind of, it's like I had access to all these things as a child. I had a lot of support from them, and I had everything I need. I went to nice summer camps. I went to good private schools as a child. I was never, I was spoiled. I was very much pampered by my grandparents, very much, to the point that it was like, why are they so, why do they, I didn't feel like a spoiled child, because I was very well-mannered, and I was respectable, and I never asked for anything. They just kind of gave me, it's like anything I wanted, and I never even asked. It's like they just wanted to do things for me. It was weird. They really, really seemed to love me a lot, and that's on my dad's side. And and that's why I was so close to both of them, especially, well, both of them, Peaches and Pops. But Pops, Ben, Armistead Baldwin Sr., basically treated me like a daughter. He literally, treated me like I was his daughter. Yeah, I know that grandparents love their grandkids and all that, but for whatever reason, it was almost like this man kind of treated me like I was his daughter. And now, okay, the reason I'm talking about this right now is this is for my own journal, documenting stuff for my own healing journey and whatever the fuck you want to call it, because I've been in such just a traumatic kind of state of mind for a while, I guess, and all this stuff happening and thrown at me at all directions and just, you know, stuff that happens in life. But to me, it's just like one thing after the next that you have to fucking deal with or figure out. And so then I'm talking about this right now because I going to the gym, I enjoy, I've talked about that before, how it just really, it motivates me. It's something to do. I like to get out of the house and go do that because I push myself and it makes me feel like I'm doing something. As crazy as that sounds, it kind of like is something that I'm so used to doing that I'd feel really weird not doing it. I'd feel really strange. I don't care if I'm 50, 55, 60 years old still doing that as long as I can. I would feel completely empty if I'm not doing something like that. Like, I know people are like, well, why don't you just go for a walk around the neighborhood park? Or it's not the same. I get it. Some people enjoy doing their things outside. I'm not especially not in this fucking weather when I get attacked by mosquitoes relentlessly. I have injuries. I fall down. It's just, for me, it's not really conducive right now. And especially when it's fucking 100 degrees outside. I have more fair skin. I don't like the sun, being out in the sun that much. I'm allergic to all that fucking sunscreen crap. It irritates my skin. So yeah, I like to be out in the sun sometimes, but I really prefer to be by the beach, laying down on the sand by the water. If you ask, that's my preference as far as being out in the sun or nature, not out in the fucking woods with a bunch of fucking mosquitoes and bugs and shit attacking me. I just prefer something like a coastal kind of environment. It's always been my preference when it comes to that. I'm not one of these people who, and I don't have to explain myself. To each his own. I don't like camping. I don't like being out in the woods, and it's not my thing. It's just, I can enjoy little bits and pieces of that, but honestly, it's never been something that I've really been that fond of. Not to say that I don't like going out into the desert in the night like I used to do in New Mexico when it was kind of cool outside and go to these, I used to do stuff like that, but I was much younger, and now, anyway, maybe in the right environment with maybe the right people or right person, I would do certain things like that, but honestly, in San Antonio, yeah, I can go for, nonetheless, that has nothing to do with what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but anyway, yeah, I do like to be outside sometimes, and don't get me wrong, but honestly, I kind of need right now to keep doing my regimen because it kind of keeps me mentally, I get way too fucking triggered in public. Like, it's hard enough for me to be around a lot of people at a gym, let alone in public, because I get triggered and I might have a fucking outburst and end up getting arrested or something, or end up getting killed at this, because so much shit has happened and is going on that it's a little bit overwhelming at times. So I have to be very careful with myself before I end up dying from an accident or something, or getting killed. I keep on having, I keep on having these injuries, little injuries here and there, that you think they heal, but it takes a little bit of time. Your body will heal, but it's just one thing after the next. I have a fucking bathtub that's so antiquated and dangerous that I fucking can't stand that thing. It's like stepping into a fucking danger zone every time I take a fucking bath. I hate that fucking bathtub. There's things in this house that are just like a fucking accident waiting to happen. The steps in the back are falling apart. It's dangerous. And I've told Kenny about that. She doesn't give a shit. Even though the house is in her name, she couldn't fucking care less. I'm the one who pays for every fucking thing that goes wrong with this house. Include everything. I pay for everything now. She doesn't do a fucking thing, even though she's supposedly the fucking landlord. It's not fair if the house is in her name when then she's responsible for fucking repairing this shit. Oh, well, you need to pay. She's just greedy and mean and hates me because the closer I get to the truth about who the fuck I am and who my father is, she gets really fucking mad and punishes me and does all this. She and her son are the ones behind the fucking everything that's happened to me since I've been here. Bob Sussman and Carter Baldwin are the main, and probably my aunt and her and cousins, they're the main, my own so-called family are the main perpetrators of this. Bob Sussman is not my fucking family. Just because she married the man doesn't mean I'm related to him by any means. Okay? He's not my stepfather at all. He's dead. He's been dead supposedly since 2009. I don't consider him to be my family. I'm not close to his family at all. And the man was nothing but fucking problems. Just a controlling jerk in my life trying to always fucking tell me what to do and treat me like I was fucking incapacitated, which I don't appreciate. You know, I'm not a fucking criminal defense attorney. I didn't want to go into the goddamn police academy. He's the one, you know, all that shit was nothing that I wanted, by the way, and I've talked about that before. It was all because of Bob and all these, it's like I was on fucking probation. It's like basically ever since, it's like who the fuck? It's like I feel like I've been on probation or parole for 20 years. Literally is how it feels. Like for 20 or so more years, it's like I've been on some kind of fucking prison parallel justice system. For whatever reason, all the fucking surveillance, stalking, monitoring of myself, the fake jobs, the fake setups. It's like being in fucking jail, in a way. My freedom, my money taken away from me, my ability to earn money, fake friends, fake relationships, fake setups. And the question is why? Why exactly is that? And what are they trying to hide? Because that's what it's all about. Ultimately, is it somebody, i.e. Kenny Baldwin, Kenny Griffith Baldwin, my mother, Kenny Lynn Baldwin. I don't know why she still goes by the name Baldwin if she hates my father so much, my alleged father, Ben Jr. Why does she still use that name? Why doesn't she just go back to Griffith? I don't understand that. You know, it doesn't, there's so much that I don't know that they don't want me to know. But it's all coming out in the woodworks, slowly but surely. Slowly but surely. And I'm seeking the truth. That's all I want is a fucking truth. And she's not. And today I was in a bit of a rage because here's something else. I had decided that, okay, I do all this goddamn driving. I've got a little bit of money from some inheritance. Not much, but a little bit of savings, right? Just a little bit to get by right now. So I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to fucking invest in myself. I'm going to buy a fucking treadmill like the one that I like since I found one that was cheap, a refurbished one online. So I went ahead and got it. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to have to pay to have it delivered and install all that shit, but it's probably going to be worth it. It'll save me a lot of gas money driving to the fucking gym for that treadmill. But then I'm thinking, the more I'm looking at the fucking plug outlet and all this shit, and it's like, well, I don't think I've got a fucking problem with the electricity in this house. The air conditioning doesn't work. Okay, the fucking the electric outlets don't work. So or they're really bad. They're like really shoddy and fucking poor. So I don't think that heavy machine, that commercial sized treadmill, is gonna last with that fucking plug. Because I'm like, no, there's something's gonna happen, and then I'm gonna be stuck with that huge fucking thing in the house. And if I want to get, then what's going to happen? You know what I mean? So I'm having to think about all this shit. I'm like, is that really worth it? Yeah, I like that machine, but it's almost worth it to just go to the fucking gym and drive to get there. And it's almost like it's still something for me to do, getting out of the house. And, it motivates me, believe it or not. I get excited. I get excited when I wake up and do that. It's like a routine and a ritual, and I actually get excited thinking about it. As stupid as, even though they surveil me and mock me and do shit, I still enjoy going to the fucking gym because I've been doing this for all of 25 fucking years now, or 20 something years, going to gyms. So it's something that I would feel completely empty and really depressed if I stopped doing that. I'm already chronically depressed with PTSD and all that shit, but if I stop doing that, then I may as well just fucking take a gun to my head and die, which I'm not suicidal, but I may as well be dead, because I love doing that. I found something that I am passionate about. And these fucking gang stalkers, and when they know that you love something, that you're passionate about something, they try to make sure that is what you cannot do. They try to prevent you from doing anything that you desire in life, that you love. And that's part of the modus operandi of these motherfucking fucking creep idiots, is to prevent you from living your life to what you want to do. It's my life. If I want to go to the fucking gym every fucking day, then I'll do that until the day I fucking die. If I have to fucking die on the fucking treadmill from exhaustion or something, fine, so fucking be it. Let me be a legacy dying on the fucking treadmill. You know, I'm just saying I'm not going to stop doing what I've been doing for so long because so-and-so or such and such doesn't want me to do it. Fuck you, it's my life. I don't go around telling somebody what to fucking do because it's not my, I don't have the authority. Why the fuck would I, you know what I mean? But these people seem to think that they have control over every aspect of my life, everything. Like I'm a bought and sold fucking object on some kind of goddamn farm. And that is not, I'm a very independent, sovereign, autonomous person, and these people are trying to steal my identity, my personality, my ideas, my creativity, every fucking thing about me, they try to sabotage. And I have been fighting. It's like fucking constant survival mode. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. I've already proven myself to myself, and I'm shocked at what I've overcome. Okay, so I don't need to fucking prove to anybody that I'm good or that I can do that. I don't fucking give a shit what the fuck they think. I'm always going to have people who hate me. I don't fucking care. You know, good. So fucking, then maybe you need to go do some fucking shadow work and introspect and quit fucking looking at me or just pay attention to yourself. Who gives a shit? I don't give a fuck what these people are doing. Honestly, who cares? You know, just leave me alone, do your fucking thing, and I'll do mine. That's it. That's the way it should be. Especially at a gym when you're being exploited by the fucking surveillance cameras and shit like that, you know? Who the fuck wants to be monitored by some fucking goddamn surveillance camera? Not me. I don't hate, that's the one thing I fucking hate about it, but I'm under surveillance here too. And at least there's fucking air conditioning that works. It's so fucking hot here and miserable. It's like at least I can be in the fucking air conditioning for a little bit. God damn it, you know? Shit. I don't need to explain myself. But anyway, so I come back home and I call the people and I'm like, you know what, I think I need to I left a message to this home gym place in Austin where I found the trouble. I'm like, I think I need to cancel the order. Can you please cancel it? I'm sorry I made a mistake. It's just too overwhelming, and now that I think about it, that plug outlet is probably not going to hold up, and it's going to just something, you know, I was like, and plus, if the fucking thing breaks down, then I'm, you know, it's under, I purchased this little warranty thing, but you know what, I just don't, something's going to fucking go wrong, that or I'm going to something will happen, knowing my fucking luck, something will fucking happen, and I don't want to be found dead, nobody's going to give a fucking shit if I'm dead or not. But I kind of don't want to have a bad accident on the fucking treadmill, and that's kind of a nightmare. At least I'd rather be in public if that happens, if I have an accident. I think I'd rather be, not like they'd fucking do anything either, but I'm just saying, I don't know, there's something about that me, you know, I'd rather invest in maybe getting a new vehicle at some point than getting a treadmill, because my car is about to fucking, at some point, that motherfucking thing's gonna die out, and I'm gonna have a car. You know, it's not like I'm 90 years old, I'm 50, I'm not that old, but these people treat me like I'm 90 years old. What, because I don't go out and fornicate? Because I don't go out and fucking drink at a bar every fucking day and socialize? No, I just like being alone. I like my solitude. You know, I enjoy it. I love being by myself. And I don't fucking like being out and fucking, for the most part, out and fucking socializing with people. Because I'm just fucking bored. Been there, done that. I've done that throughout my entire fucking life. And honestly, it's just, who cares? Who gives a fuck? The shit they talk about, the music, I'm not interested. Except maybe a few places. Most of these places are fucking shit. I don't like fucking Tejano music. I don't like fucking salsa and merengue shit. It's just not my thing. I don't like that kind of music. I know what I like and what I don't like. So I don't want to waste my fucking time doing shit I don't fucking like. You know, I'm not going to waste more time. I've wasted enough goddamn time with the wrong kinds of people doing shit they want to do that I have no interest in. So there, you know, it's my life. And anyway, so I called Kenny and I was like, you know what? Would you please just tell, and I left her a message. She never fucking answers her phone. I said, could you just please tell me who my biological father is? This born out of adultery shit crap is really getting to me. And it would be really nice if you for once could tell me the truth, because I'm tired of suffering. I need to know the truth, please. You know, Because I know she's lying about lying and like a coward that she is. So then I checked my emails just a few minutes ago, or about 30 minutes ago, and it's 7:08 p.m. on Saturday here, March 24th, 2025, here in San Antonio. I look at my email and I have this thing from Ancestry. I have a profile on Ancestry.com, right? And so I'm not a member, but I have a profile on there, and there's some kind of fucking family tree. And now they're saying that they're saying on Ancestry.com that my potential father is Benjamin Armistead Baldwin Sr., who was born August 30th, 1916 in Dallas, Texas. He died November 15th of 2000 in Houston, Texas, Harris County. Okay, so in other words, possibly, and I've thought about this before as well, I've thought about this scenario where maybe Kenny had an affair since she admired Pops so much. You know, she was married to his son, Ben Baldwin, who was an alcoholic. But Pops, Mr. Educated Army military, smart, had his shit together. Maybe he got her pregnant. Maybe I'm the illegitimate son of Pops, of Benjamin Armistead Baldwin Sr. And maybe that's what the fucking is going on. So if that's the case, that would be really fucked up. But it could be. It wouldn't surprise me. That would mean that my alleged father, Ben Jr., is really my half-brother, or some weird shit like that. And that would mean that Alan Baldwin would be my half-sibling, half-brother. If Pops is my biological father, if that's what is a possible scenario, that Kenny had an affair with Pops, she got pregnant, and then that's a big fucking taboo secret? Could be. Very well could be. It wouldn't surprise me. These kinds of things happen in families. So I'm wondering, what is going on? Why is she so angry? And that would make a lot of sense too. The more I think about it, that would make sense. Because Pops treated me like a daughter. He left me in his will. I had an inheritance, a trust fund from him. Whereas Ben, his son, supposedly didn't have a fucking will. And certainly didn't treat me like a daughter, like a biological daughter by any means. So that would make sense. Now that I think about it, it would make sense. And that could be Kenny's deep secret that she's trying to hide. Really? Is that it, Kenny? That Pops, Benjamin Armistead Baldwin Sr. is my father? Am I getting hot or cold? Is that it? Or what the fuck? Because I think it's about time that you go ahead and fucking tell the truth. Because you're the only one, you're going to go the fucking grave with me having to suffer not knowing this shit, and it's not fair. It's really fucked up that you would do that. And I know that Carter's father is not, sure as a fuck isn't Ben Baldwin Jr. Sure as the hell isn't, I don't know who the fuck his father is. That for sure, I don't know. But it's certain, sure as a fuck isn't Ben Baldwin Jr. That's obvious. I have no idea who his paternal side is. No, and it's certainly not it's certainly not the Baldwins. That's for goddamn sure. He was adopted by those people. Those are not his biological family. It's obvious from looking at him. So that is what I had to say. So you see what a fucked up situation this is, especially when there's a will or probate stuff and they just keep treating me like I'm fucking stupid.